How you doing, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good. So I got another guitar for you. This is something that's quite old. Again, I'm a little behind always in posting these. Let me look at my notes here. It's number 222. And it's serial number 26/11/2020. So it's the 26th day of November 2020. So that's what I was up to at that time. I'm having a lot of fun here, a lot of satisfaction in creating things. Can you believe it? Creating things. You know what that is like? It's got nothing to do with commercial success, right? Nothing to do with that. It's like, I know it's hard for you guys. It's really difficult for some of you guys to understand this, except especially the toddlers on these guitar channels. You know, the white toddler who is going extinct, who is marked for annihilation. Well, they take refuge, and you would be one of these, maybe, most likely. And you take refuge in the last remnants of your culture, which is guitar playing, guitar building, cars. What else is there? Maybe firearms, I don't know, fishing, hunting. What are you into? I don't know what you're into. But those are some of the things. And you have been misled to judge success based on financial success. And that's not what it's about. And for the easiest way for you to understand, and this may work, if you think about it, maybe sleep on it a few nights, think about it. Why do you play the guitar? Okay? Now, let's say you make a few dollars playing the guitar, as stupid as you may be. Well, not anymore. Even if you've got a name as a guitar player, you're driving Uber. I know you're driving Uber. I know it. You can't hide it from me. You're driving Uber these days. But if they took all the, let's say you were making a few dollars, and they took it away from you completely, and they said from now on, you cannot make any money doing this. You get no gigs. You can't play at your local crappy little venue, bar, where there's 5 drunks watching you. You can't do that anymore for $50 a night. You can't do that anymore. You're done like you are now. They took it all away from you. They took your culture and you're basically all the elements of your life. They took it away from you. But being a toddler, you don't think there's anything out of the ordinary. Oh no, no, it's just everything is face value. It's what you hear the aliens tell you on national television, mainstream media, mainstream news. That's what you know. You're a big fucking toddler. But anyway, if they take all that away from you like they did, I ask you this. Would you immediately quit playing the guitar? I don't think you would. I think you'd play just as much, because you play the guitar for the creative outlet, for the creative expression. That's how you're gratified. Some of us who need to create. Some of us really need to create constantly to make a statement. Not to make money, to make a statement. In fact, I was just thinking, like, I used to dabble with the idea of making custom guitars for people. Oh, how disgusting that is. And taking orders and all this shit. And I hated it. And then if people pay you, then they expect you to do something the way they want it. It destroys everything. And I start hating it. And that's when I stopped doing it. And whenever I had an order for a specific guitar, it's the worst work I've ever done. I don't do good work that way. Just gotta let things happen, man. Just gotta let things be organic, happen randomly and by chance. And then you get some very unique works of art come out of it that the creator, the artist, is truly enthralled with and inspired by and proud of and excited to do the next one. The next one and the next one and the next one, and do better and try this and try that. And what would happen if I did this? And what if I combined this with that? And what if I repaired, corrected all the problems from previous designs? I can do it. I can do it. Just let me make the next one. I'll do it on the next one. And you keep going and going and going and going and going. And that's what it's all about. It's not about talking to, being a cheesy salesman and talking to lesbians and, and doing deception. And it's about, believe it or not. Now, this is something the taller doesn't get, okay? Because most of these people on these guitar channels that make me sick to my stomach, and the comment section is just disgusting. But this whole thing is only about one thing, and that's building. Building guitars. Having the chance to build guitars and to live your inspirations. You make your inspirations come alive. That's the only thing about it. Other than that, be a fucking businessman. And don't go into the guitar business. You're an idiot if you do. If you do it for money, you're a fucking idiot. You're the biggest idiot in the world. Get into finance, get into fucking political corruption, stealing masses amount of money, fraud. Get into an asset stripping operation, which is doing pretty well these days. That's what you get into. If you want to make money, the guitar business, come on, man. You're a fucking idiot. You get into guitar business because you love to build and build and build, and you can't get enough of building guitars. That's why you get into it. You get into guitars also if you love playing the guitar. Why is it so fucking hard to understand this for the toddler? Why? I don't want to say too much. I don't want to say too much because there's a plan, and I don't want to ruin the plan, but that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. But the thing is, these fucking guitar channels, which is the last refuge of the white male, they don't understand the fact that it's not about selling. It's about keeping. How about that? You only sell things you don't like anyway. Come on, think about it. Think about it. And I keep saying this over and over again. It's primarily about building. It's about art. It's not about selling. It's not about being a businessman. It's about being an artist, and that's the same reason that you play. Even if you're driving Uber right now, you're still playing. Because it's in you to play. It doesn't even matter if you don't make a penny, or if it actually is costing you money to play or to build. You have to sacrifice to play or to build. You sacrifice a lot of things to do the art that you're meant to do. And if you can't, if you have no talent to either play or build, then you're going to have to be Paul Reed Smith. It's your only choice. You have to be a money changer, which is quite appropriate for an alien. And every one of these guitars I make, I'm just attached to them. You know what I mean? It's just, they're all unique, but they're all the same as well. They have the same DNA. But they're all unique in certain ways. So I pick up one, and then 5 minutes later I pick up another, and 5 minutes later I pick up another. It's like, whoa, that's cool. That's really cool. That's really cool. And they all play the same. They're all set up the same. Now they all have the same frets. They feel the same. Even though the neck thicknesses, not the width, the thicknesses all differ. Some are pretty much close to the other one, but some are thin and some are thick. It makes no difference. They still feel the same. It's the same concept of the guitar, which is very different from any other guitar out there, especially the commercially available guitars that any particular individual may be accustomed to for their entire life. These things feel very different, and I'm very proud of that fact. It's just like these people that play everything note for note. And you're going, oh, wow, man, that's impressive. But where's the dude? Where's the dude? I want to hear it the way you play it. I don't want to hear it how any guitar hero plays it. And don't admire anyone. If you idolize people too much, you don't exist. You want to make a statement. You want to be yourself. You got the courage for that. If you're a toddler, you don't. You always got to follow. But if you're like me, you got to make a fucking statement with everything you do. And you got to be yourself. And you got to be an original. It's like I can do it in my sleep now. The setup, it's just so much perfected that I can look at an instrument. I can pick up any instrument of any brand and I could tell immediately what's wrong with it. And I don't do guitar repairs. It's the other thing that I wouldn't want to do. Because I have to deal with the toddler, okay? And my whole life I've been trying to keep away from the fucking toddler. You understand? Keep away from the type B male because they are toxic. It's just very difficult to respect the toddler. That's the problem. And it's because of them that we are in the dire predicament that we're in right now because of the type B male bunny toddler, and they are absolutely aggravating, insufferable, and frustrating to have anything to do with. And it's a story of my life, you know, and the type B male, also known as the toddler, also known as the normie, what other names can we give them? They give the alien its power. See, there's a secret well, not so secret relationship between the toddler, between the normie and the aliens. See, what's secret about it is the toddler has no self-perception of this. The toddler doesn't realize anything. Everything the toddler sees is at face value. They do not go deeper other than the surface. Whatever they're told is what reality is. That's the nature of the toddler, and that's why they can be the best slaves, either within marriage or in society in general. They are conformists, even without ever realizing that they're conformists or admitting to it. I mean, a toddler, a normie, is absolutely essential in the world. I mean, no political operation can ever be achieved, no political movement, no tyranny, no revolution can ever be achieved without the toddler. The toddler simply follows. The toddler does not stand out, does not want to stand out in any way. Because everything they have to gain comes from conformity, and they know that. They're born toddlers, and they know that from birth. Everything that they've ever gained, and any chance they have for advancement in any field, in any area of their life, has to do with one thing: conformity. So, if you're hiring for your business, for any endeavor, you're going to go for the toddler, because the toddler is the perfect slave. I mean, listen, you certainly wouldn't want to hire me for anything in any established organization, because I'm going to go in there and I'm going to literally rip it apart. I'm going to find all the problems. I'm going to redesign it. I'm going to make it my own. You don't want me in there. You don't want me in there. Okay? I can't follow. I can't conform. I can't. It's just not in me. That would be the death of me. Where it's the complete opposite of the toddler. That is, for the toddler, their essence, their innate constitution to conform and to follow and to obey, even if they don't admit to it. You see them. You see them everywhere. They got their mask on. You see them. They've actually marked themselves now. And you may be one of these maskers. I know I saw you. I fucking saw you. I know I did. Any psyop that the alien comes up with, the toddler is right in with it and plays the game, plays along with it without even questioning it. But for somebody like me, and you see me lashing out all the time, like what are you so aggravated over? You ask. I'm lashing out at the toddler. Because I can't respect the toddler. I can't get anything done with a toddler. Because you know what? A toddler looks like a male, more or less. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they do. They could be firemen. They could be cops. A lot of them are. They're in the military. But they have no balls. They're missing balls. That's the thing. They have no balls. But it's their behavior that tells the story. It's their behavior that identifies them. I mean, let's put it this way. I go into a large grocery store, you know the type, big ones, or any type of store, Home Depot or whatever. I'm the only fucking guy, the only person without a mask. Can you imagine that? And yes, I have to admit it. And I don't even feel bad about it. Anywhere you are in the world, I am responsible. I can actually even say that I killed your grandma. And without the toddler, then the aliens wouldn't go anywhere. They wouldn't get anywhere. They would just be fucking considered as comedy. Okay? Comedy in the world. I mean, you look at what's being reported on mainstream news in the world every day, every single day, constantly, right? Every hour. And most of it that you are allowed to hear about is simply comedy. It's alien comedy. It's all it is. But it's the toddler. And it's women that make it into reality by conforming to it. Understand? That's why the toddler is so fucking essential. And the toddler is essential in marriage as well. I mean, that's what women want. Women want to control their spouses, if you want to call it that. It's all about control. And the toddler lives to be controlled. And most toddlers will, oh no, not me! Nobody tells me what to do! That's the response you would get. But I see right through you, toddler. I see right through you. I do. That's my job. My job is to see right through you. I do other things other than guitar building. I only do that as a hobby in my spare time. But the toddler cannot function without having faith in the alien. The alien leads the toddler. And sometimes the alien leads the toddler to mass suicide and massacres, annihilation. And the toddler is very often, it's part of the whole plan, is provoked, enticed, deceived into committing atrocities. The toddler is who commits the atrocities all throughout history. The alien designs it, the alien programs them, and then they release the toddlers. And every atrocity, every huge deception in the world is actually carried out by the toddler. That's why the toddler is so fucking dangerous. And you may be one without even knowing it or admitting to it. Let's put it this way. Who is gonna be kicking down your door and shooting your dog at 6 in the morning? It's gonna be the toddler. And he's gonna love it. Because he followed orders. He conformed. And he'll be rewarded for it. That's the toddler. A whole group of toddlers coming through your door. And they all own CNC guitars. With polyurethane finishes. It's got to have that. So that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. So anyway, that's the lesson for today. And let's get on with the show and show you this number 222. The 222nd guitar that I made in my life. How many did you make, Paul Reed Smith? How many? You can't fool me, you fucking alien. You can't fool me. But you can fool the toddlers. More power to you, actually. I'm happy for you. Alright, so this is 261120. And guess what? It ain't relict. I don't like fancy guitars. I don't like fancy wood. I don't like meticulous, flawless workmanship. I don't like any of that shit. Everything has got to be according to Logos, the rules of nature, organic. And organic stuff is hard to come by these days. It's pretty much, it has been outlawed. Outlawed. Anything organic is fucking criminal. You know that. Even if you're toddler, you feel that. You feel that, don't you? You feel that inside. Yeah. And so I'd rather concentrate on organic stuff, like really natural, very human. And handcrafted guitars should never look like a CNC made guitar. That's the problem. There's a few people that are making handcrafted guitars. There's still very few, but and some of them even have YouTube channels or whatever, but they're highly misguided. They make either very unappealing, undesirable, generic, drab, insipid, bland guitars, because they try so hard to make them high quality. They try them so hard to make them look and feel like a CNC made instrument. And that's fucking idiotic. You're a dumb fuck if you do that. Because anybody can just buy a CNC made guitar. There's millions of them. There's more guitars out there. There's 100 times more guitars out there than there's guitar players, which is really another really bizarre thing that's happening. It has been happening for years, or at least they gaslighting you into believing that there's so many guitar players, which there isn't. It's a dying breed. It's our culture that's been taken away. And it's definitely a dying subculture within the culture that's dying. So if you want a guitar that looks and feels and sounds like a CNC made guitar, you've got tremendous numbers and opportunity to buy one. You shouldn't go to a guy that claims to make guitars by hand to end up having something that is like a CNC made guitar. It totally defeats the purpose. Now, what's wrong with these guitar builders? We're really getting off topic. We're getting into all kinds of areas that I could talk about for hours on hours. But of course, I need to be paid for this type of consultation. So I'm just going to leave it at, why do we see these misguided guitar builders out there, even the few that are left? Because they're followers. They're following Paul Reed Smith, this fraud creature, this invented, fabricated actor. That's who they're following. They can't do it originally. They can't. And if you force them, they're going to scream, kick and scream. They're going to be in agony. A toddler cannot be original. Understand? Cannot. They cannot stick their neck out like I do. They cannot be hated. They cannot have the risk ever of being hated, of offending or being controversial or coming up with something unique, something novel, something that may not be accepted. Oh, that's death to a toddler. They simply follow mainstream narrative. They tune into the news. And they listen always to what the alien is telling them to do. Their only concern is to really be certain of what is expected of them. They're not going to make a new path anywhere. They just gotta know what's accepted, and that's what they're gonna do. That's why all these guitars look like CNC guitars. And it's awful. So this thing is all wrong, this guitar. For one thing, it's not relict. It's fancy looking. I used to make guitars like this all the time, and I'm kind of ashamed of it now. I've matured. After 222 instruments. The other crime that is committed with this guitar is that it's made of figured wood, which is also no-no in my book. I hate figured wood. And I just feel like it's like putting lipstick on a pig, you know what I mean? And that's what that fucking PRS cut its teeth on. That's what made him famous. The insanely figured, disgusting, grotesque, maybe fake, maybe plastic wood. Totally unnatural looking. I mean, if you look at a 50s Les Paul burst, right? That's a very different figure. It's not overly figured, and it's very natural looking figure. It's uneven. It's not, a lot of the times it's not even book matched, and it just feels and looks organic. Then they spray it with true nitro, not the nitro that Gibson and Fender calls nitro these days, okay? which is a criminal act, actually. It's misadvertising or whatever. Deception. But true nitro, which relics itself. I mean, as soon as the guitar is done, it starts relicking itself. I mean, even if you don't play it. And if you play it, then the process is very quick. Now with the plastic, thick plastic automotive finishes that you got on your fucking guitar, which you love, just like you love your sex doll. I'm fine with it, man. If that's what you're into. You're a pretty sick bastard. And I'm saying too much here. I'm talking too much here. I could go on for hours, believe it or not. Yeah, I know you believe it. I could talk up for hours and tell you how disgusting and how degenerate the world is. And the worst part of it, I mean, that's fine. That's not a problem. The worst part of it is that the toddler doesn't even acknowledge it or realize it. Again, the toddler doesn't know that there's anything out of the ordinary. That's the character of the toddler. The toddler has a lot of limitations, and the toddler is the indoctrinated product, operation of the alien. The alien actually made the toddler, And you could see that. Okay, I'm just going to say this much. I have been aware of the toddler for decades and decades. The first I noticed is through the purchasing strategy, the purchasing habits, the purchasing process of the toddler. And it's all indoctrination. Oh, they'll never admit it. Oh, no, no, no. They'll say, oh, nobody tells me what to do. But the thing is, if you watch, well, take the guitar industry for one. Okay, that's a great example to use. Musical instrument industry as a whole. But anything really. The toddler will never purchase anything of their own decision, volition, their own opinions, because they don't have any. They always have to be told what to buy. So if you present a toddler with something that's clearly unique, clearly superlative to everything, the toddler doesn't know. And the toddler will walk right by it, say, oh, that's nice, thank you very much. And they will always purchase what the establishment tells them to purchase, what is in vogue. They can't tell good from bad, the toddler. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the perception. They don't have the discernment. Nor do they want to engage in any of that. Because engaging in anything which is at variance with the mainstream narrative, in other words, what is expected of them, is dissent. And dissent is castigation. The toddler immediately takes the risk of not being accepted, not being loved, not being included. They're not going to be accepted. The toddler will not be accepted. The toddler views anything original thought, original opinion, original action as cutting their own throat. So you got to understand, see, this is very important to understand. Taking the guitar industry, this is the reason why you've seen, for as long as you've played guitar, which could be for some of you 50 years or more, you've seen how important promotion, advertising, and endorsers are in the guitar industry. That is the reason why. Because the guitar industry, as with any other industry, it's overwhelmingly made up of the toddler consumer, and they want those endorsers. The toddler always needs to be told what to do, how to behave, what to buy. Always. It's the only way they feel secure and safe. Be safe. It's a toddler phrase. Be safe. Be safe. Be safe. Oh my God. It makes me fucking sick to my stomach. They want that Steve Vai. Steve Vai is a salesperson. Satriani's a salesman. All of them are. Even the lesser names who are driving Uber right now. They are salespeople. Look at Bonamassa. He sells fucking masks. I don't know. Well, of course, he's controlled. He's controlled by the alien. Every step he makes, it doesn't come from Bonamassa himself. But the point I'm trying to make here is that endorsers are essential because they tell the toddler what to purchase. The toddler cannot tell the difference between good or bad, nor do they want to. Unconsciously, subconsciously, they don't want to do that because that's dissent. That's the last thing the toddler wants to do. is be at odds with the programming of their controllers, be at variance with it. See, the toddler will never be in opposition or in defiance of authority or mainstream society, because the toddler desperately wants to be part of it. Well, the big thing is that they lack individuality, individualism. And to engage in individualism is actually a crime these days. And we are very close to it being a punishable crime, offense against the state, if you're in any way individualistic. And the toddler is born, the type B male is born and conditioned by the media, by society, led by the alien. The toddler is socially engineered by the alien. That's what I'm trying to say. To be anti-individualism. Again, they will never admit to it. But they're always led to do what they do, with them not even realizing it. I mean, the whole hippie movement, the whole rock and roll scene of the 60s, 70s, all the isms, it's all social engineering by the alien. The toddler being led to perform and to do exactly what the alien wants him to do. So here it is, a fancy guitar with fancy wood and impeccable workmanship, everything that I fucking hate. And I made this guitar. And I apologize. It just sort of turned out this way without me realizing it, until it was done, and I'm going, what the fuck did I do? What the fuck did I do? And I'm going to try not to do it again. And then after this guitar, I totally reversed and did the opposite, and opposed these principles, made up for them, I think. You know, the guitars you'll see coming up after this. But here it is. As ashamed as I am, sometimes it happens. Sometimes you get caught off guard. And sometimes you're forced into doing things because you've got no other options. Like, I'll explain to you that with this I didn't really have an option. And I found this piece of wood that was very interesting. And I'll explain to you about the piece of wood as well. So I better stop with the lesson, which, you know, went on too long, and show you this guitar that I'm ashamed of. So here it is. Here it is. Now, what is this? This is, believe it or not, those bevels. The first thing you see is these bevels, right? And the contouring, whatever you want to call it, and it kind of makes you think that it's a modified shape from a Les Paul, but it is not. It makes it look like that, but it is not. It is actually an exact Les Paul Special Junior Vintage, exact shape of that. But what happened is this piece of wood was too heavy. And even so, this guitar is, this finished guitar is on the heavy side. And let me just look here at the actual weight. The actual weight is 7.9 pounds. So you're talking almost 8 pounds here, which is a very heavy guitar for me. Now for you Les Paul wielding fire breathers, this would be a lightweight for you, but it's a heavyweight for me. I don't like heavy guitars. Poor Randy Rhoads, a little guy like that, with a 11-pound Les Paul. Oh my God, Randy, you didn't call me for advice, for consultation. Anyway, here it is, and two reasons this was built is I've got a lot of weird and some fancy wood and unique woods, which I'm not actually using much because I like the cheapo shit, and you will see with guitars coming up. I like junk wood, man. They make the best guitars. But I had this thing, and now this was a one piece of wood. It was a very oddly shaped piece, and it was wide enough to make a single piece body out of. The problem was, see this figure here, this highly figure here, maple? This was only on one end of that piece of wood. And then on the far side, the other end, it was this piece that was figured. So I figured if I use that figure and leave the wood as one piece, I would be making a guitar body with figure here and nothing here, just like with no figure on it. So because half of the wood had nothing on there, so I thought that would look kind of odd, you know, only having figure on one side. So what I did is I decided I'm going to make it into a two-piece body and cut that board I had. I wish I would have taken a picture of that board. Cut it in half and then splice one end with the other end. So basically I ended up with two figured, just to make it match, you know. I ended up with two sides figured that way, but it had to be a two-piece body right down the center, which is fine. I like one-piece bodies, but this is fine, and at least I would have figure on both sides. The problem is you can see it looks kind of odd because the figure is very different on both sides, even though it comes out of the same board. This is what I'm trying to tell you. One end of the board was very different from the other end, and then there was no figure in the middle. So I took one end of the board, which is this, and I took the other end of the board, and I glued it together, and I have this. It looks pretty unique, I think. So that was the one reason to build this guitar, is to make use of this strange piece of wood that I had. And the other reason is to do the Strato Bucker pickups once again, like last time. And actually, it was incorrect. I stated last time that the first Strato Bucker pickups were one side, which is the Fender sides, Strat pickup. I stated on the previous guitar that they were to vintage spec, and looking at my notes, they were not. And remembering back after I did the video, they were not vintage spec because what I tried to do on the first version of the Strato Bucker is I tried to match the Gibson side with the Strat side as closely as possible in terms of winds and in terms of ohm reading, which is power output. I tried to match both the Gibson and the Fender Strat coils within a pickup. I try to keep them as identical as possible. Therefore, I did not arrive at a vintage spec Strat pickup. I arrived at a vintage spec Gibson side coil, but not on the Strat side, on the previous Strato Bucker set. But on this Strato Bucker set, I did something different. what I then wanted is to not worry about matching them in terms of power output, the two coils. So that's what I did on the previous one. Now, so one of the reasons to build this guitar is to try out a set of Stratobuckers, a new set of Stratobuckers, which will actually give you an exact Strat spec pickup on both pickups. Vintage spec Strat coils on both pickups, and vintage spec humbucker coils on the other side. So Gibson coils on the other side. So if this doesn't sound like a Strat in single coil mode, I don't know what will, because these are exact Strat pickups. Okay, it has the same wire gauge, it has the same ohm reading as a 50s, early 60s Strat, it has the same number of winds, they're both wax spotted, where this side is not wax spotted. This is the stud coils, the same as on a Gibson humbucker. Okay, married to a Strat pickup. Okay, so I love rotary switches, and look how cool that knob is, right? That's a very cool knob. So I put on a 6-way rotary switch, and what you got here is you got all the options you need and nothing more. So what you got is you've got, this is the first position, it's pointing straight at the player. That's how you know it's the first position. And here you got neck humbucker, both the Gibson and the Strat coils together. Okay, here you got neck, the Strat only. Third position, you've got Strat only neck, Strat only bridge. Fourth position, you've got both humbuckers together. Fifth position, you've got bridge Strat coil only. Okay, and sixth position, you've got bridge humbucker, the bridge Gibson coil and the bridge Strat coil together. You've got master volume very close, so you can do your swells while you play. Wow, wow, to accentuate what you're playing. I'll try to demonstrate that. It's a work in progress to get that technique going, but it's wonderful. And that's why you can't fucking have your volume knob over here, okay, Gibson? You gotta have it right there, so your pinky goes around it. Wow, wow, okay? And then what you got is you got a master tone. And you've got these very cool little string eyelets going to a locking 2-pneumatic bridge. Perfectly placed. Look at that placement without a CNC and without CAD. Computer aided design, so you can place everything on computer. No, this is done by me. The old-fashioned way. The way all the skyscrapers and the great bridges, like, you know, the bridge in San Francisco and Golden Gate Bridge and all those were made. They were made with slide rules and manual measurements on a piece of paper and drawings by hand, blueprints. That's the way it was all made. No computer shit. Computers are for soy boys with no talent. So then you've got the neck. Then you got the neck here, and The neck is 25.5 in scale length. So it's Fender scale, believe it or not. So this is not characteristic of a Gibson Les Paul, the neck. The neck is longer. Okay. And Pau Ferro fingerboard. Maple neck. Quarter sawn, one-piece maple neck. And I decided that it would be a very cool matching aesthetic to not put the face dots on, only put aluminum side dots on there. See, isn't that cool? Just to keep it clean, very nice and clean. All right. What else can I tell you about this? So it's the same thickness as a Les Paul in exactly the same shape, but these contours, this beveling, which is the same beveling as you would see on an SG, the same angle. I've got a cutter like that, custom made. And I decided to go around the whole body because I was forced to do it. I was forced to do it because this piece of wood was too heavy. This body was too heavy, as you know, to make it into. It was going to be a regular Les Paul Special / Junior body on this, but I had to take as much wood off as I possibly could without destroying the the shape of it. And I didn't want to put a Fender contouring on it because that would have looked disgusting. Okay, if something doesn't match, it's not appropriate, then I freak out. It's just not right. It's a sacrilege towards the arts. There's only so far that artistic license you're allowed to have. Now here's the back of it. You'll see the big difference between the two sides here. And there's the controls. It's very difficult to put controls this way, but I have to do it because I don't like big control pockets and cover plates, and since each one of these guitars is a one-off, more or less, I can't afford to have router templates for every instrument. So I think this is a nice aesthetic this way, and I particularly really like it, actually. And then you've got your 4-bolt with the spike neck tilt adjustment, and just a plain neck, plain maple neck, and the whole thing is oiled. Okay, so it's very organic, very, very smooth. What else can I tell you? What else can I tell you about this? Again, it's 25.5 in scale length. As usual, 24 stainless steel frets, so you'll never have to change them. And this is a modern themed guitar, obviously. It's a hot rod, it's a custom, it's not pretending to be vintage here. So it gets closed, sealed, modern tuners. It gets the protruding logo on there. And that's all. It plays great. It's super low action. I mean, you could shred on this like no other guitar. It's so effortless to play. Plays and sound fantastic. Again, you get the Strat tones. One thing you don't get is you obviously don't have a middle pickup here like you have on Strats, so you don't get quite the same quack as when you got the two close coils functioning at the same time. So the closest you have is the Strat side of the bridge and the Strat side of the neck together. So that's it. I hope I didn't miss anything. and the beautifully made nut of my special Mission Impossible nut material, which keeps this in unbelievable tuning. And it's not something an Uber driving former professional guitar player could afford, but I really love it. And as you could see, the contouring is on both sides done equally to take as much wood as I can off of it to lighten it up, because it's got a balance. On every guitar you need to balance the body with the neck, okay? That's why one sign of a toddler, and a lot of these guitar heroes from the past were definitely toddlers. And for one thing, they were all working for the alien, and the alien now took away their livelihood, their identities, their life. And but they were toddlers, and the way you could tell is when they put on an already neck-heavy guitar, they would put those Grover, heavy Grover tuners on there. And the whole guitar was out of balance. It was disgustingly neck-heavy. Like they would put those heavy tuners on a arch top, like an ES-175 or an ES-335, or even like an ES, like a hollow, total hollow ES-330, and they'd put these boat anchor tuners on them, and basically they have identified themselves as a stupid toddler. Bang, you know that right away. So these are the details that I look at. There's the strings inside there, see? You can't see them, but all right. All right, so the web page is up. A lot of nice pictures. Got the same story on there that I just explained to you. So let's get on with the playing. And I'll show you what it, well, hope it comes through on the microphone, which is always a challenge. And let's get things going, and I'll try to show you what it sounds like and how it plays. Single coil, the Strat sound of the neck pickup. It's so good.
Wow.